gentlemen, welcome back to episode 80 of the Simply One podcast. I'm your host, Colin, and I'm joined by my co-host, Chris.
How we doing, everybody?
We're just a couple of best friends who are passionate about all things pop culture. If you're looking for lukewarm takes on movies, video games, TV shows, or even occasional comic, then we got the show for you.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, it is. Episode 80.
Mm-hmm.
That's, for some reason, that feels bigger than 79.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's big.
But not quite as big as 81.
Mm-mm. Not yet.
Right in that
That's
sweet
next
spot.
week.
Yeah.
Oh. And
I got a spot for you that's sweet.
More sweet than you'd ever
Candy
realize.
Shop. Remember that song?
Mm-hmm. 50 Cent.
Yeah, you remember that video?
Bum, bum, bum.
You ever see that music video?
Uh-uh.
2004 Colin was bricked for that. Fucking just old enough to get bricked, but just young enough to not come, you know? That talk about the sweet spot right there.
That's the sweet
You're
spot.
jacking off, no mess. Oh, man.
The glory days.
Oh, man.
Now I'm a monster.
Yeah. Now your shame is visible, you know? You're just like, oh, what have I done?
What is this?
I'm an animal. Remember the first time? You're like, oh, no. It changes the whole dynamic, yeah.
I was devastated.
Now I got to do something about this. Oh, no. Oh, mama. Oh, mama. This week we decided that we're going to talk about adaptations that are needed, whether it be something that we're just like, oh, man, that would make a really good movie, video game, TV show, or if it's something that has been adapted before, isn't off the table, even if it's just something we're like, you know what, I'd like to see them give that a crack. It's been 20 years since they did that. If they're going to reboot something, you know, at least make it something you're like, you know what needs a reboot? That, you know. And yes, that was an idea that one of us came to. I think we kind of came to it together, and then we're like, you know what? That sounds like an idea that we want to talk about. So we're going to give that a crack this week. Not a ton in the news this week, but I do have a few things for you that excited me, or I thought were interesting.
Okay.
We've got a little bit of drama in the gaming space.
Uh-oh.
So we're going to talk about that. The Sims 5, we got some more news from that doesn't necessarily excite me. We got a few trailers, actually, for TV shows and movies that, you know, whatever. Well, I'll take it or leave it. Mostly shows, actually. We got 3 series. And then I figure we'll just get into our adaptations. So what do you want to start with? Trailers, Sims 5, or gaming drama?
Think about the gaming drama.
It's like gaming drama. Do you know what Unity is?
Unity! No, they're a game developer.
Yeah. They're an engine.
Yeah, that's what it is.
And they're really popular in like the indie game space because it's pretty open source, and it's a nice engine to develop in and things like that. So you'll see a lot of either like free games, you know, or it's just an indie game, just download this or whatever, or you know, even some larger games will be built on Unity. Yeah. The difference between it and Unreal Engine is you pay for, you can do the free version of Unity, or you can pay to get all the developer package, and then you can just you just have a lifetime, I have Unity now, right?
Yeah.
Well, Unity has come out and said, hey, we are going to introduce what they're calling, I forget what the exact phrasing was, install fees.
Okay.
So essentially the way it's going to work is, it's called the Unity Runtime Fee. So I'm getting a lot of this from IGN because they had a pretty decent write-up on it. The new pricing model is going to apply to developers who reach a certain amount of installs and revenue. So basically, here's the quote from Unity. They say, we are introducing a Unity Runtime Fee that is based upon each time a qualifying game is downloaded by an end user. So that'd be you or I, right? The person downloading the video game. Unity's announcement reads in part, we chose this because each time a game is downloaded, the Unity runtime is also installed. Also, we believe that an initial install-based fee allows creators to keep the ongoing financial gains from player engagement, unlike a revenue share. So the way this works is the developer is going to get the fee for me downloading the game that was built on Unity. So the developer is going to get charged a fee every time it gets installed.
Oh my God.
Now, granted, it is past the mark is like, I believe it was $1 million. And so it is $1 million, but then it's either that or a certain number of downloads.
Okay.
Whichever comes first. Right?
It's me.
I always come first.
Humble brag.
Yeah. So, like one of the takes is from Aggro Crab, which they're developing a game, and they say, "Hey gamers, today Unity, the engine we use to make our games, announced that they'll soon be taking a fee from developers for every copy of the game installed over a certain threshold, regardless of how that copy was obtained. Guess who has a somewhat highly anticipated game coming to Xbox Game Pass in 2024? That's right, it's us and a lot of other developers. That means another Crab's Treasure, which is their game, will be free to install for the 25 million Game Pass subscribers. It's a fraction of those. If a fraction of those users download our game, Unity could take a fee that puts an enormous dent in our income and threatens the sustainability of our business." And that's before we even think about sales on other platforms, or pirated installs of our game, or even multiple installs by the same user. Because that's the thing. It's every time you install it. So if I get a new computer, or I have multiple computers, or I just deleted it and went, you know what, that was a fun game, I'm going to reinstall that. That's a second download. That's a third, fourth, fifth download.
Oh, my God.
So they say this decision puts us and countless other studios in a position where we might not be able to justify using Unity for our future titles.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense to me.
If these changes aren't rolled back, we'll be heavily considering abandoning our wealth of Unity expertise we've accumulated over the years and starting from scratch in a new engine, which is really something we'd rather not do. On behalf of the dev community, we're calling on Unity to reverse the latest in a string of short-sighted decisions that seem to prioritize their shareholders over their product's actual users. I fucking hate it here.
Good.
And that is, they are not alone. So there's several. I want to kind of go through and hit on some of the major ones I saw. So yeah, I'm trying to see here. So Unity further lays out the minimum revenue and install count to qualify, with different thresholds for developers using Unity Personal / Unity Plus, Unity Pro, and Unity Enterprise. For smaller indie developers who use Unity Personal / Unity Plus, they'll have to pay Unity 20 cents per install once their game passes $200,000 in revenue over the last 12 months, or 200,000 life-to-date installs. This new policy has caused a lot of backlash, obviously. So, especially raising concerns in free-to-play games, charity bundles, and more. So, because if it's a free-to-play game,
yeah,
I'm not making any money on it.
Yeah, how the fuck is that gonna? I'm getting charged to release this game.
So one developer tweets, "Make a game. Game is freemium," which is like a free game where you can pay.
Like Apex.
Yeah, exactly. You can buy stuff. So yeah, make a game. Game is freemium. Game makes 200,000 from in-app purchases after being installed 3 million times. I now owe Unity 20 cents per 2.8 million installs, which is $560,000. That's $360,000 more than we made. So I can end up basically losing money on this game just because I use Unity to make it. Obviously, one of the other big things here is somebody says, "I bet Steam, Epic, Sony, Nintendo, and Microsoft will love having waves of developers pulling their games. Innersloth has always paid Unity appropriately for licenses and services we use. I'm not a discourse guy, but this is undue and will force my hand." Basically, I can't afford for this to happen, so I'm going to pull my games.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And so you've got a ton of people across the industry, indie and big, going, "No, fuck you. First of all,
no.
I already paid for the engine. I paid to use it. You're the only one doing this." And you've got a ton of people going, "Unreal Engine 5 is free."
Yeah.
So fuck it. Somebody says, "So do I just rebuild my whole game in a different engine? Spent a small fortune on pro licenses to develop the game over several years. Seems kind of insane that Unity can just throw this out there on a whim. They should at least refund the lifetime license costs for everyone."
Yeah. They're not going to.
Nope. And so Unity responds at least to the charity bundle and the malicious installation fears, because that was a genuine fear too, was, okay, so then if we just decide, that we don't like this developer for whatever reason, we can just all go download their game en masse and bankrupt them.
Yeah.
Right? And if it's a small developer and you just get a bunch of people together to go download this game, and all of a sudden they owe Unity $360,000 and they go, "I don't have that."
Yeah.
Oh, well.
What'd they say?
Right. And so Unity says, this was in a statement to IGN, a spokesperson from Unity says, "We do already have fraud detection practices in our ads technology, which is solving a similar problem, so we will leverage that know-how as a starting point. We recognize that users will have concerns about this, and we will make available a process for them to submit their concerns to our fraud compliance team." So basically, you have to, after the fact, go, "This isn't legitimate." and then they have to do an investigation, and you can only imagine how slow that process is.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's like fucking putting fraud on your card, you know. There's an investigation, and what if they come back and go,
There's not enough here.
Yeah, we can't say that it was fraud. So then you're fucked. And I didn't know all this, so further down, they talk about, so it says, folks who work on Epic Games' Unreal Engine are capitalizing on Unity's bad day by pointing out that Unreal's 5% royalty model kicks in only after a game grosses $1 million. So you've got $200,000 at, Unity, and $1 million at Unreal, and it's only 5%. So like they say, if your game makes $1,000,001, you owe us 5 cents, right? And then every dollar over that, you owe us 5 cents.
Yeah. Okay.
But you've already made $1 million, right? And so after that, you made your $1 million. You're good. You're comfy.
Yeah.
But you have to make the money, right? And so it's like, it's not based on a download.
No.
It's based on a dollar value, which I guess if you're going to do it that way,
that makes the most sense.
Makes the most sense. Because then you run into the issue with, like they talked about, freemium games. So apparently Unity has been under a lot of pressure, laying off a lot of employees. And Richie Tiello, who is like the head, apparently came under fire in 2022 for referring to developers who don't focus on microtransactions as, quote, the biggest fucking idiots, before apologizing. Apparently trust in the platform has been declining for years, with many developers already talking about looking for alternatives. And they put a quote here. Now I can say unequivocally, if you're starting a new game project, do not use Unity. If you started a project 4 months ago, it's definitely worth switching to something else. Unity is quite simply not a company to be trusted anymore. So you've got a lot of major developers just going, well, guess Unity's not the move anymore.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think this might be because it's that point of you've already shit your pants in public. Even if you change your pants, you're still the guy who shit your pants. You know what I mean? So even though you roll it back and make it, oh, okay, we've decided after much consideration, I think it's too late. They've already publicly shit their pants. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so everybody knows that you shit your pants, regardless of if you changed them or not. And so people are, you might still have some people go, all right, well, at least they're not doing that, so I'll still, use Unity because I like it. But the majority of people are going to go, okay, how long are they just going to wait for this to cool down and then come up with something else? Yeah. I just can't trust them. I'm going to go with who I can trust. And so I'm sure Epic Games is over there fucking rubbing their little fucking grimy hands together because they were doing Unreal. And they're just like, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Come to me. And honestly, Unreal 5 is gorgeous.
Yeah.
So
it is. It's really pretty.
I mean, it's a great engine. Excuse me. Taking a little sip to wet the whistle. So I don't know. I just thought that was very interesting because Unity started off with small indie developers as like, that's a good in. It's like, yeah, I'll use Unity, and Unity kind of has a look to it, you know what I mean? So I'm like, oh yeah, I can picture a Unity game. And so for it to be like a big piece of, especially PC gaming to start, for them to really kind
do
of
that,
like I said, shit the bed. Oops.
Whoopsie daisy.
Whoopsie daisy. And they might be on the way out.
Well, it sucks to see them go.
Yep. Sucks to see them treat developers that way, but
Shime.
So, Sims 5.
Yes.
EA had a, I forget what they call it, like behind the play or some shit like that. Behind the Sims, that's what it is. They had one of those today, Tuesday the 12th. And they talked about Project Renee, which is the code name for the next Sims game. Which makes me think that they're not going to call it Sims 5.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because I feel like just call it Sims 5.
I think the next one should just be called like The Sims, and then stop making them and just keep updating that one.
So, EA confirmed that Project Renee will be, quote, free to download when it's ready. So, they say in their blog post, this means that when Project Renee is ready and fully open to players, you'll be able to join, play, and explore it without a subscription, a core game purchase, or energy mechanics, meaning like in free-to-play games where you have to have energy to do stuff.
Oh, okay.
So in their blog post today, they said, we want playing to be super easy for you to invite or join friends and experience new features, stories, and challenges. So we knew that it was going to be a multiplayer thing. So they're basically making it free to play, which scares me.
Microtransaction the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
That's not, and it's EA, bro.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The Sims is already, like, bleeding you dry.
Bundles off bundles and Sims packs.
So the blog post says that the next Sims game won't replace The Sims 4, but that the two will exist side by side. So their quote is, "We will continue to support both at the same time, and we'll plan to bring more exciting content to the Sims 4 community for the foreseeable future."
Mm-hmm.
So they're kind of treating The Sims 4 like you're talking, of just
That's
support. This is Sims, so
yeah.
support this. Because the base game of The Sims 4 is free.
Yeah.
They did that back in October. So here's the thing. They clarified that Project Renee won't begin with everything you have in The Sims 4, but they add that they plan to add new experiences and content to Project Renee over time. So DLC.
Yeah.
They promise to switch it up a bit. So, for example, this is the quote, "Basic weather may be added to the core game for free for everybody, and in the future, a pack for a purchase may be focused on winter sports with activities like ice dancing or snowman building competitions." I just, like you said, I really genuinely worry about a lot of microtransactions.
That's what it sounds like. It sounds like a bunch of microtransactions.
Like I told Morgan, because she's a big simmer, and I am too.
So am I. I love The Sims, man. That sucks.
I think
I won't even buy it then.
the free, well, you don't buy it.
Mm-mm.
It's free. You don't buy it.
Well, yeah, but like I'm
What,
not
you
gonna
install
play it. Yeah.
So my thing is do you install it, and then you've got like just the most basic stuff, and then you can pay to have different clothes and different decorations and different things like that.
That's not what I want, though. I just want to play the fucking game.
I just want the Sims. Yeah. So this really, I think, oh man. So remember I showed you that Paradox Interactive, who makes City Skylines and all that.
Yeah.
They have that Life Sim game coming out, which is called like Life by You.
Oh yeah, that looks.
And that's
good.
coming out next spring, I believe. And then there's the indie game one called Paralives.
Yeah.
That, at some point will be coming out. It's kind of slow development because it's a small team
Smaller
indie
team.
game. But I really think that it's like the water is getting chumped pretty good for somebody to step in and replace The Sims.
Yeah.
Of like, okay, here's a glaring issue because like obviously The Sims as a concept has a lot of promise.
Yeah.
Like people play a life simulator.
Yeah. People love simulator games to begin with, but
Yeah.
then to be able to
Control
control
the
it.
freedom of life, right?
Yeah.
Just whatever you want to do. You can make stories in it and do whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's obviously promise in the concept, but then because EA kind of has like a corner on the market, they get to just nickel and dime the piss out of the user.
Even like Stardew Valley, that was the next Harvest Moon.
Yeah,
because that one flopped.
Yeah.
And then boom, Stardew Valley dropped, and
Yeah.
everyone's like, "That's the one you
That's
want."
it. Yeah. And then now it's a case of anything that comes out that's like inspired by Harvest Valley or
Harvest
Moon
is
is a Stardew
Mhm.
sim. You're
Mhm.
like, oh, this is definitely Stardew Valley.
Yep.
And it's because they successfully did it. They
Because Harvest
modernized
Moon
it.
used to be huge on the GameCube,
Oh yeah.
and then
I
now
mean,
nobody
I
knows.
had it on the fucking Game Boy, dude. The N64, yeah, dude.
And then now, yeah, it is Stardew Valley.
It's Stardew Valley.
Yeah, so
And
that's
Stardew Valley is made by one guy.
yeah. Dude, it's such a good fucking game.
Yeah,
We got to hop back in on
I
that.
know. And he's making The Haunted Chocolatier. He's working on another game.
Oh, word?
Yeah. Concerned Ape. I was trying to think what his name is that he goes by. Yeah, Concerned Ape is making The Haunted Chocolatier, where, I don't know, it looks like you're running a chocolate factory of sorts.
Okay.
And you, like, can cook up your recipes and shit. And you have to, like, go gather the ingredients and shit. And there's, like, ghosts and stuff that you fight.
Sounds
But
like
then it's still got, like, the RPG elements like how Stardew does of like romancing the locals and and all that. And I'm like, oh shit. And it's got the art style. A lot of people are like, oh, is this like in the same world? You know what I mean? That'd be kind of funny to just a needless connected universe.
I mean, like, it would make sense because there's spirits and stuff like that
and
in
like
Stardew.
slimes and yeah.
What up, slime?
Just us in the mines. What up, slime?
What up, slime?
What it is, slime? Slicing them
Snipe?
and dicing them. Snipe?
What's up, snipe? Say ain't got no riz.
But no. So as far as trailers go, we got what 3 or 4. So we got the tiniest little teaser trailer for Aquaman 2. And it was basically a teaser saying, "Hey, there's going to be a trailer later this week." So I think on Thursday or Friday we're going to get the official trailer.
Why did they even do that?
I don't know.
Like that? Okay.
I don't know.
It's Aquaman.
But so it's like, oh man, okay. I guess we're going to have an Aquaman trailer. And what's wild to me is how big the first Aquaman was. Like the first Aquaman made over $1 billion.
Yeah.
It's one of the only DC films that has done that.
And they just
And it's
tanked
fine.
it.
And it's not. It's fine. Like it's not $1 billion movie
Yeah,
to
it
me.
ain't gas or nothing.
Yeah, right. It's fine. I mean, it was fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't of the DC movies. It's honestly one of the better ones.
Yeah.
But it's still not like yo.
Oh,
shit.
shit.
I've never once been like, you know what I want to watch again?
Aquaman.
I did see a meme though on TikTok that was like, it was a montage of all of the conversations in Black Panther or in Aquaman that get interrupted by an explosion, and there's like 5.
Jesus.
It's like, man, that is a strange trope of like they're just having a conversation, and then from the side, just the wall gets blown out, and their conversation's interrupted, and it just happens a lot. And you're like, man, why does that keep happening?
Why is that a thing?
And like, why did nobody go, are we doing that again? Like, you know what I mean?
Again?
Like, was it in the script? And they went, and then again, this happens. You know, again.
That's the 4th time.
That's a weird. Is it like a gag? Is it
a 5th, 5? Like,
yeah. Is it a running joke?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't feel like a gag. Just feels like a strange choice. But yeah. So it looked fine. It looked bad, actually. I'm not gonna say fine. It looked bad.
No, like pretty bad.
Like I said to you and Morgan, it just looks like the only thing that's real in a shot is the face of the person. I didn't actually even pay attention. Was Amber Heard in the trailer?
Nuh-uh.
I didn't think so. Is she even in the movie?
I think they might have taken her out.
Like, yeah, gone back and had to cut her out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that was one that I was
good.
Like, yeah, I don't know, but I was worried. Like, how do you do that? You know, because she's a main character.
Yeah.
So it's like, ooh, I wonder how. But you figure how many times has it been reshot and re-edited? And
Jesus.
I mean, this thing was supposed to come out like this time last year.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's coming out
in December.
Yeah. At the end of this year.
Yeah. It got delayed by like 10 months, I think, after getting delayed by like 5 months.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. And like we were talking about, there was that article from the Batgirl directors who talked about like the Flash making them sad for Batgirl because Batgirl was, quote, unreleasable. And you're like, fuck.
I was so excited for it.
Yeah.
Like when I heard like,
because all the pre-up was like one of the best comic book movies. And you're like, who fucking saw this movie and went, oh my God, this is it. Like,
this is the one.
Like we have redefined a genre. Like, I guess in a way.
This is groundbreaking.
Yeah, in a way, yeah. We really saw how big it can flop.
Yeah.
It also did less numbers in its first 3 days on HBO Max than Black Adam.
Ooh.
Yeah, it did like just over 1 million views in three days on Max. But you know what? I was reading, they had like an infographic of the different DC films. Do you know what by far and away was the worst performing in those first 3 days on HBO Max? Shazam! Fury of the Gods.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, yeah, that's a movie that I always forget even exists.
Yeah, same.
And it had like 250,000. I was like, oh my God. 250,000 people watched that. Which sounds like a lot of people until you realize it's just not.
That is not.
Like, Jesus.
That's embarrassing.
That's bad.
Like, that is a bad...
When Flash does 1 million and people go, that's not good. And then you realize that it did 4 times as much as Fury of the Gods. That's tough. I was like, oh my God.
I wouldn't want to be that character anymore.
I audibly laughed. I was like in a public place on Twitter and was like, oh, there's an infographic. What's this? Oh my God. Because again, it's a movie that I forget exists. And then it's just 250,000 people went, I'll turn it on. I wonder how many finished it. You know what I mean?
Not many.
That was tough. So, not excited for Aquaman 2.
No.
We did get a trailer for, what is it called? Monarch Legacy of Monsters.
Oh, yeah.
On Apple TV Plus.
That looks
pretty dope. So it's, for people that don't know, Monarch is the company, or like the agency, I don't know what you want to call it, in the new like Monsterverse. Mm-hmm. So like Godzilla and Kong. And it kind of looks like it's going to take place from like Kong Skull Island up through the new Godzilla movies.
Yeah.
Of like, I don't know if it's going to be like an X-Files style or what, but it seems like it's what's going on behind the scenes with Monarch through all of these events, which kind of makes sense because there's a big gap between Skull Island and then Godzilla.
Well, yeah, that was in the 70s or something?
Yeah,
And then,
it takes place in this because it's end of Vietnam.
Yeah.
So it's like, early 70s. And then Godzilla comes out in 2014 and is set right around 2014.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of interesting. And like you and I were talking, it's got
Don't look at me like that.
Kurt Russell.
Oh my god, you look like the turtle from Over the Hedge.
It's got Kurt. I just completely like my brain shit the bed, and I'm like, what's his name? Kurt Russell and Wyatt Russell, and it looks like Wyatt Russell's playing
the
younger version, which works so well because he is just Kurt Russell with blonde hair.
Yeah.
But you and I were talking about that. Kurt Russell is one of those actors that somehow managed to age like a normal human being and age well.
Yeah.
Because normally you see an actor that's his age and you're like, he's had some work. You know what I mean? Or they look like fucking milk.
Harrison Ford.
Yeah. You're like, God damn.
He's old.
Like, I know he's old, but damn, he looks old.
God damn. Or Clint Eastwood.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Oh,
Between his fucking looks and his voice, you're like, Jesus.
How are you alive?
Someone fucking do him a solid and just
put him down.
Yeah. Like a dog. Just fucking old Yeller his
feeling
ass.
lucky, punk.
Are you feeling yucky? Yucky? Are you feeling lucky, punk? And just like he sounds like Batman all the time. And that's just his voice.
Yeah.
He's always had a little gravel, but then you add on like chain smoking and you're like, boof. Like chain smoking and hate.
Yeah.
That's it. That's Clint Eastwood.
That is Clint Eastwood.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't agree with him on much, but he does make some good movies.
He used to be a pretty good looking cat.
Yeah. Not anymore. Now he looks like fucking leather shoe.
Oh my god.
Just
he looks like my
balls.
Yeah, literally, man.
Just wrinkled and fucking
chafed.
Like, he looks like my balls when I'm cold. And they're real taut. Close to the skin, look like a walnut. Just that's him.
Got some scraggle hairs on it.
Yeah, it's a side he can't shave because of the shakes, Why are we just dunking on him for being old?
Yeah, man, we're just
dogging on him.
Can't help it.
Well, he's a hateful person, so that's all right.
That's true.
But, no, so all of that to say, it looked pretty cool. There was that one shot specifically of one of the main characters. It looks like she's going to be one of the main characters on the bridge there at San Francisco. Looking up at Godzilla, where it seems like maybe it's during the 2014 Godzilla film.
Yeah.
And I told you, I was like, those shots of like being ground level looking up at the monsters.
Just shows how big he is.
Yeah, it really excites me. Of like, damn, that is a big ass fucking monster.
There's a scene in the trailer where it looks like he gets hit with like a rocket or something.
Yeah.
And like he turns his head, but he's roaring, and he's like roaring right at the woman as she's running down the street. And just like imagine being
there. Yeah. You're like, what the fuck? Especially because that movie is the first movie where like the general public gains knowledge of these monsters. You know what I mean? Until that point, it had just been a Monarch secret kind of thing. And so then you're just like in San Francisco with this monster and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah. Cause it also looks like, I mean, we've known about Godzilla since at least the 40s because we tested nukes on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was some of the nuclear tests were just cover-ups for us trying to kill Godzilla. And so I'll be interested to see how far back it goes. Because you figure there's a shot of them like drawing on the bomb, which is very World War II, of like putting the X through Godzilla's face on the bomb. So we are going to see some of that. So that's kind of exciting to see some world building. Yeah. And you and I had talked about, you'd made the point of like human stories being the weakest part of the monster movies.
I'm excited for this one because it feels like a human. I feel like the Godzilla movie should have been a movie about a monster with some humans in it, and they try to just put way too much dialogue in for the humans. Yeah. But this one here, it's not about Godzilla. It's about Monarch. So it's a human story with monsters in it, which I feel like is just going to succeed a whole lot better.
Yeah. Especially in the format of a show.
Yeah. It just sets the expectation for, okay, this is more of a drama.
Yeah.
This isn't a monster movie. But then when they throw the monster,
like,
dope-ass monster stuff in there, you're like, what a treat.
Yeah. I made the comparison to like The Walking Dead being a human drama with zombies in it.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, this is a human drama with monsters in it. And I do like the idea of it being a time, not time bending, but kind of timeline following X-Files style.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be X-Files like, but the idea of like a secret agency that's looking.
Do you think Monarch's going to lead into the new
Godzilla Kong movie? Maybe. What is that called? Fucking.
It doesn't have a name. I just passed it the other day. There's not a name for it.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm. It's about enough.
Yeah, Godzilla Cross Kong. It's the X. Mm-hmm. Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire.
I just said that.
You're like, it doesn't have a name. I was like, I'm pretty certain that the trailer they showed had a name.
The New Empire.
Yeah, and it got pushed back to April 12th. It was supposed to come out this fall. But,
Well, with the writer's strike,
Yeah, the writers and actors strike, yeah. So, good. Fuck them. I hope they don't make any money.
Yeah. But I've been getting bored lately.
Hey, there's plenty of good stuff out there that we just have to backlog,
Like what? Let us know. simpleoldmailbag@gmail.com.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, you did.
Fucking, you need to watch the Midnight Mass.
I gotta watch Midnight Mass. I gotta watch Sopranos. I gotta catch up on Better Call Saul. I gotta watch The Wire. I gotta watch Fiona and Cake.
I like that you just got done going, like what? What's backlogged? And then you're like, here's all the things I've got to watch.
Sopranos, Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, I heard Yellow Jackets is good.
Yeah, I heard Yellow Jackets is gas.
Succession apparently is a banger.
Succession's pretty good. Game of Thrones, I'd like to.
Yeah. You know what? I've been feeling like rewatching Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Maybe that's our Breaking Bad. I mean, not our Breaking Bad.
Yeah, nothing will top our Breaking.
No, but I mean, like, the way that we just went, you know what, we're going to rewatch? Breaking Bad. It was your first time seeing it, and it was like my fifth rewatch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard it. We did, speaking of Black Mass, Midnight Mass, we got a trailer for Mike Flanagan's new series, Fall of the House of Usher.
Yeah, that looks pretty good.
Yeah, it's strange to me, because The Fall of the House of Usher is an Edgar Allan Poe, like, novella.
Okay.
Or short story of sorts. That's kind of like it's a gothic vampire story.
Uh-huh.
And this was, it didn't seem like there was a vampire.
Felt paranormal.
Well, yeah. But it was like a modern, and it was like the House of Usher is actually a crime family, and as opposed to like just a dude who lives on the side of, he lives in this decrepit manor on the side of the road.
Yeah.
So if I'm remembering correctly, the Fall of the House of Usher is some dude, like maybe a storm rolls through or whatever, and he has to like stop to like get off the road. And he goes to this manor, and it's like, the guy lets him in and is like, yeah, like, I'll let you fucking stick around, but like, fucking lock your bedroom at night. What the fuck? And basically he's got like a vampire that lives in like a sarcophagi beneath the house or whatever. I read it in high school. But I remember it being like creepy and whatever. And like when I saw that Mike Flanagan was going to do Fall of the House of Usher, I was like, oh shit, I'd like to see him do a gothic horror, and for it to be like a modern thing was kind of weird to me. And like, it seems like they're just throwing in some Edgar Allan Poe references with like The Raven and things like that. So I don't know. I mean, I'm interested in it. I'm still going to watch it because I like Mike Flanagan. But apparently The Midnight Club was fine, which was, I think, the last one that he did. So I'm like, all right, Mike Flanagan, don't overstretch yourself.
Yeah.
And I know that this is the last thing he's doing for Netflix, and after this, he's moving to Amazon.
Oh, really?
Amazon fucking sniped his ass, got him out of there. And,
which I
think is a big loss for Netflix, because he's made a lot of, like, premium horror for them.
Yeah.
You figure he made the movie Gerald's Game. Did you watch that one?
Mm-mm.
That's a good one.
Add to the list, I guess.
It's like 90 minutes. It's a pretty brief one. Fuck. And then you figure he did The Haunting of Hill House, which is a major one. Midnight Mass was a big one for them. Bly Manor was like the sequel series to Haunting of Hill House. But
Hush.
He didn't make that one for Netflix, but yeah.
No.
Excuse me. But it is on Netflix.
Yeah.
But yeah, good stuff. And then we got a trailer for, what was the last trailer? Gen V.
Which looks pretty good.
Pretty good. I like that it doesn't seem connected much to, it doesn't seem like a series where it's like, well, have you watched The Boys? Oh, well, then you won't get it. I'm sure it's going to be a case of where if you've seen The Boys, you'll pick up on things.
Yeah.
But it's not necessary. Which I like, because The Boys is one that I need to watch.
It's so good.
Where like I've watched the first season, but I've got to get caught up. Now we're into what, season 5 coming out.
Yeah.
No, season 4 is coming out.
Yeah, they just released season 3. They're working on season 4.
Yeah, well, no, season 4 is done. They're just waiting until the strikes are over to release it. But yeah, that's one that I'm like, I gotta catch up on that.
Dude, it's so like Frenchie and Kamiko are my favorite characters.
Yeah,
I love them. I liked Huey at first,
mm-hmm.
then I grew to dislike him.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I always liked Butcher.
Yeah.
Got an Australian accent.
Yeah, like a strange Australian / Cockney.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's supposed to be British, but Carl Urban is Australian.
Yeah.
Or actually, he might be a Kiwi. But so he's just this very strange, like, die a fucking bollock.
Yeah.
He's definitely British.
Yeah.
But it's a Kiwi doing a British accent,
Die a fucking bollock.
And it's like the cartoony British, you know? Where you're like, is he Cockney? Talking about up the apples and pears and shit. And you're like, what? He's doing fucking Cockney rhyming slang.
You want to watch me have a wank? Cost you a tenner.
Yeah. Oh. All right.
All right.
All right, man.
No, it's good. It's gas.
Gas. So, yeah, I mean, I like the first season.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so Gen V is basically college.
Yeah.
Apparently it's A-Train's like alma mater. Like A-Train went to school there.
Oh, okay.
But it's just a school that seems specialized in soups, like adolescent soups that are like, coming of age. And some mysteries on 'cause you figure one of the key like plot points of The Boys is that Vought has been like, basically growing soups by selling their compound V in the hospitals and shit, and like intentionally giving babies compound V so that they'll grow up into be soups. And so I do wonder if this is part of that. I'm sure it is, because it seems like the teenagers or the college age kids that are going are like unraveling something that's going on.
Yep.
And I do like the idea that like these are kids who grew up like consuming like the soups media, and so they genuinely want to be heroes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like Starlight.
Yeah. And so it's like, okay, these kids are actually going to try and use their powers for good, because so far we really haven't met any good soups other than Starlight to an extent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh, that's interesting to see kids who like have that, like, they're still shiny,
Yeah.
They haven't been beaten up and dented by the world, and by like that world specifically.
By what's her name?
Who like
it's like the Wonder Woman.
Maeve. Queen Maeve.
Yeah.
Yeah, she kind of has a turn, doesn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's in season 3.
Well, she used to be like super, like Starlight, and then she's all like,
yeah, they just beat it out of her. Well, and you figure,
hero. I haven't heard that name in years.
Yeah, well, and you figure when you have,
bunch of misogynistic, fascist fucking pigs his team hates.
Yeah, I love that fucking just that dynamic of fucking a bunch of right wing like MAGA fucks being like, I'm just like Homelander's just like me, and you're like, you realize that's a bad thing, right?
That's
like,
not.
He is there to make fun of you.
Yeah,
like he's Donald Trump. Literally, that's
the fucking meme I sent you. The post on Instagram.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you figure he literally kills a guy in public, and then everybody's like, ah! And it's that quote from Donald Trump, if I could shoot somebody in Times Square, or in the middle of Fifth Avenue or whatever. And it's like, that's what they're making fun of. They're making fun of you. And you guys are just fucking eating it up. So,
It's a cruel world we're living in.
Yeah. But I guess satire only really works if you are like self-aware enough to realize that you're being satirized.
Yes.
Otherwise, you just think it's for you. Whoops.
Whoopsie daisy.
Whoopsie daisy. So, I think of those trailers, I think I'm honestly the most excited for Monarch.
Yeah. Yeah. Monarch looks good.
Which surprises me, because I wasn't crazy about Godzilla vs. Kong. Like, it was a fine, monster movie.
It was all right.
But it still had the human problem.
Yeah. And, like, the fight just wasn't that good.
Yeah.
And they made Kong lose.
No, they didn't. They both won.
Yeah, but Kong.
They took turns winning.
Yeah, but he killed Kong, and they had to revive him.
Yeah, and then Kong saved Godzilla's ass.
Yes, I mean, when it came between,
They give Mechagodzilla the business.
dude, they do. Like they should have been playing X-Go and give it to you.
Yeah, like they beat the fuck out of him. It made me think of I came across TikTok the other day. Fucking the High Evolutionary getting his ass whipped by the Guardians. He didn't even fucking get to swing. They just beat his ass. And I was like, yeah. Which is so satisfying because he's just a monster.
He's a fuckhead, man.
Yeah, he is just villain.
There's no god.
Yeah, he thinks he is a god. And seeing like and the fact that it happens right after you see like all the animals that he's going to torture.
Yeah.
And then they just fucking whip his ass. I'm like, yes. Yes.
Well, shit, Rocket almost killed him when he was a little pup.
Yeah. Scratching his fucking face off. Yeah.
Mask off. Fuck it, mask off.
So, I don't know. You want to talk about some adaptations?
Let's talk about some motherfucking adaptations.
All right, you start. Don't take mine.
No.
None of the ones I texted you.
So, one of the ones I wanted to see, and we're kind of getting it, so I wasn't sure, but I still wanted to, bring it up. The Old Republic, Star Wars The Old Republic, was a good game.
Yeah.
But I think it has a lot more potential now.
Sure.
And I think if they made something similar to, like, Grand Theft Auto, but Star Wars, as far as, like, the open world aspect.
Okay, as a video game?
So, yeah.
Okay.
If you can just do whatever you want, you know, you can go do missions as a Jedi or, you know, go smuggle shit and stuff like that. But I think something like that, but fully customizing your own character, it being open world, you know, you can have, you know, your buddies do it with you so you can guys do a smuggle run, stuff like that. The thought of that seems really fucking cool.
So, apparently, there's somebody working on a mod for Starfield to turn it into Star Wars. That excites me.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Cut it out. There's already so many mods, dude. Last night I was looking like, okay, what mods can I download?
Yeah.
And I'm excited for that. Because, like, Bethesda games get modded to hell.
Yeah.
And it always makes them better.
To a fault.
Yeah, like, it's a problem that Bethesda has where their games are super moddable, but they're also, like, necessarily moddable.
Yeah.
Where you're like, you know what makes this game really good? Mods. Yeah, you know what I mean? And I think Starfield will be that case. I've definitely come around to it because I've been playing it. I kind of, like, I saw a lot of tweets and stuff that were like, I'm now on my 15th hour of Starfield and it's finally starting to click for me. You know what I mean? And that's kind of where I think I am.
Okay. Is,
like, just doing some side stuff and, like, not getting super committed and bogged down into one thing of, like, you know what? I'm just going to go. I started looking for planets that say they're temperate, you know, where it's like, okay, this is potentially habitable. And so at least there's alien life there. And then going there, seeing what's there. And if I don't like it in the first rip, I dip.
Yeah.
I'm out of there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I found, like, settlements and stuff that way. And I'm like, oh, this is kind of a cool place. Yeah. And then, you know, doing...
Well, didn't you say, you just set up your first outpost?
Yeah. Not crazy about what I've seen so far as the outpost building. But I also wasn't crazy about the settlement building in Fallout 4.
Yeah.
And this is definitely an extension of that system.
Yeah.
But that does excite me, though, for mods down the road. Because
mods would be cool.
Because Fallout 4 has a mod called, like, Sim Settlements or something like that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Where there's just, like, pre-built settlements that you can just, like, hit a button and now you've got that settlement there. And I'm like, okay, I want that for Starfield.
Yeah.
But all of that to say, apparently somebody's modding Starfield to be Star Wars. Where, like, some UC guys look like stormtroopers and shit like that. And I think down the line, that'd be a really good... I mean, you figure you've got Fallout mods that are, like, whole new games, basically. You know, where they're using Fallout 4 to make Fallout London. Or Fallout Miami. You know? And so I think that's something that'll be happening.
That'd be cool. That'd be real cool.
I think they've got to be careful to not get in trouble with the mouse. But yeah, because you figure I kind of spoiled it for you a little bit last night, but you get powers in Starfield. And so you could use that as, like, these are Jedi powers, you know? And just, you could probably add in different powers.
I mean, it's a mod. Can they really get in trouble by the mouse?
I don't know. So I think if they don't make any money from it, they're fine.
Yeah. Just keep it that way.
Yeah. Do you have more about? I kind of interrupted you. I didn't want
to. No, but I just thought it'd be cool. You know, same, you can buy land speeders, you can buy ships, right?
Yeah,
you can buy all that shit. You can buy different kinds of guns.
Yeah.
I mean, if you are a Jedi, I think it'd be a cool concept to, you can own more than one lightsaber.
Yeah.
Is that a thing? Can it be a thing? I can't see why it wouldn't be. Grievous did it.
Oh, I got you. I thought you were asking me if the game was a thing. I was like, I don't think it's a thing.
No.
I mean, yeah, I would think so.
Like, Luke has 2.
Yeah.
He's got the blue one and the green one.
Yeah. Now, granted, I think he gets the green one because he loses the blue one.
That's true.
Right? In that order?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did he get his new one? Where did he get it? Was it Yoda? No, it's not Yoda's.
I don't know.
He just kind of...
That's a valid question because he gets it from somebody. Is it Yoda's Kyber crystal?
I'm not sure.
Because you figure he meets Yoda in Empire Strikes Back, loses the blue saber when he loses his hand, and then he's got the green one in, because you figure it's been a little bit of time in Return of the Jedi.
Well, no, because when does he go back to Dagobah?
Does he go back to Dagobah in Return of the Jedi? I don't think so.
I thought he goes back because he dies.
Who?
Yoda.
Yeah, Yoda dies in Empire Strikes Back.
And it ends with him getting his hand fixed.
Yeah.
I thought he went back.
I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't know. I'm not sure. We'll do some research about that.
That's a good question. Or if somebody knows, tell us.
Yeah, let us know at simpleonemail@gmail.com.
Is there an official answer to where does he get the green saber from? Yeah. Or is it like, well, in this extended universe, you know what I mean? In this novel, he gets it from this.
Have you seen the alien for, I think it's called like Starlight? It's a monster, star something. But it's like some alien in Star Wars.
Okay.
It is in Star Wars that you can't see it until it makes eye contact with you.
Okay.
And then it paralyzes you.
That's
and essentially it can like phase through your walls and stuff like that. And so a lot of like Imperial ships and stuff like that, when they're cruising through, one of the stormtroopers slack jaws, starts staring into it, and it phases in and just kills the ship.
Jesus.
Just eats him. So that is cool. That is cool looking, but
yeah.
No. So I mean, something like that though. I mean, even if they kept it as like there's not a whole lot of other planets you can go to.
Sure. Well, you figure at one point in time they were working on a game that was called like Star Wars 1313, and it was supposed to be. It was from like one of the people that made the Uncharted games.
Yeah,
it was supposed to be in the style of Uncharted, but like in the underbelly of Cloud City.
Yeah,
you know, and like that sounds interesting to me. Or no, I don't think it was Cloud City. I think it was the capital city, Coruscant. Where because you've got all the levels and shit to it.
Well, yeah, if you're up in the sky, up higher up, you're wealthy, and if you're in the slums, you're.
But yeah, so that game kind of got scrapped, and so I'm like, oh man, there's a lot of potential in Star Wars.
Yeah, I just want to be able to customize my own character, and like I said, even like the Old Republic.
Yeah,
like that was a really good game. Yeah. Update it, do it again.
Well, you figure I think they are doing a reboot or a remake of Knights of the Old Republic.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I don't like the MMO style. Hot take.
I'm trying to think. So this one was not the MMO. It was the BioWare RPG. Hold on, let me look it up here.
No, I'm saying that for Old Republic.
Yeah, so Knights of the Old Republic is just the RPG, not the MMO.
Okay.
I think maybe the Old Republic is the RPG. Yes. Yeah, so Star Wars The Old Republic is the MMO. Knights of the Old Republic is the RPG.
Okay.
So Knights of the Old Republic is what's getting the remake. I think it's still coming. It might have been one that got canceled. Let's find out. Seems to be. September 4th, 2023, they still have an article about it. So yeah. It's being... I don't know if it's going to be a PlayStation exclusive, but I remember that it was unveiled at one of the... State of Plays for PlayStation. So I don't know if they're like partnering with Sony at all or what, but yeah, so we are getting a remake of that. So you might get your wish.
Maybe.
Of an RPG style,
I'm curious about this new Star Wars game that they're making. I can't remember. Yeah.
Is that what it's called? Star Wars Outlaw?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. You got anything else?
Interested for that one though.
So I told you in person, I don't know if I brought it up on the show or not, but the World War Z.
Yeah,
as a miniseries or even just as a series. Yeah. I said like I picture being an HBO series because they seem to take those
really
kinds of things.
Control.
Yeah, like they allow a lot of creative control. They give them the proper budget, and they kind of allow like creative control, like we were talking about with The Last of Us, making it only 8 episodes.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be 12.
And like some episodes were only 30, 45 minutes. Some were an hour and a half. You know what I mean? Just depends on what that episode needs. And apparently, you figure originally it was supposed to be 9 episodes, and then HBO were the ones that were like, I think the first 2 episodes could probably be 1 episode.
Yep.
And they were like, okay, yeah, I see that, And so HBO actually was the one that was like, let's do less.
Yeah.
Less episodes, but the same amount of content. Just combine these two. But because the audiobook of World War Z is some of the best just content I've ever, like...
I want to listen to that audiobook.
Yeah, you got to. Because I listened to, like, the unabridged version, I think. So it's, like, 25 hours.
Yeah.
But it's fully acted. It's basically like an audio drama, but it's done in the style of, because I told you, the movie is not like the book, other than that there are zombies and that the main character is employed by the UN. The zombies are totally different. So in the book, they are like a classic Night of the Living Dead zombie. Yeah, brains, just the mindless walking corpses. And it takes place after the zombie war.
Yeah.
And like we won, basically. We managed to.
Which I was telling you, that's a cool concept. Like you never see win.
Like it's true post-apocalypse in that like we got over it. We're over the hump and we're into the world almost ended, but we stopped it, and now we're in the rebuilding phase.
Yeah.
And so his job is that he's like a reporter or an investigator for the UN, and they send him out to like go interview all these different types of people in all different walks of life and different roles in the military and just in society and in civilization and things like that. Society. Society.
Where's the Italian?
Where's the Italian? My Heath Ledger Joker always ends up sounding like Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see Jack Nicholson do Heath Ledger's Joker.
Jack Nicholson's weird now.
Yeah. Well, he's also like 88.
Yeah.
But
have you seen his Instagram?
No.
He'll try to make skits, but he'll narrate over them.
Okay.
But he'll narrate his own voice. Like in the skit, he'll say to himself, "I love fried chicken."
Yeah.
But he does a really bad job of editing, and you can hear that it's an overlap of him narrating, "I love fried chicken," and try to match up with his lips. And it just looks bad, and it's like, what are you trying to do here, man?
Yeah, right. Hey, But anyways.
Anywho.
So World War Z, and so the audiobook, or the book in general, is basically like little vignettes of like him talking to this person who was in one of the survivor camps, or talking to this person who was a soldier when they retook New York, or talking to this person who is, was in the military in India when they decided to nuke the city, and like talking to a little, like one of the ones that stood out to me as like really unique and different was talking to basically a feral girl who was a little girl and her parents got killed, and she somehow survived like on her own in the wild and is just a feral girl. And like she's like a 17 or 18 or 19, maybe even in her 20-year-old woman, but like mentally she's stunted at like 7 or 8 when it happened.
Oh my God.
And and so it's like a really weird, like he's talking to her, and she like speaks in short little words and phrases and things like that, and is very animalistic, like hiding in the corner. And so I was telling you, I think there's a really neat opportunity there to like, you get a big face to be the investigator, and then each week, or if it's a big story, you've got a couple episodes, it's a different guest star. You know, where like I told you in the audiobook, like Mark Hamill plays the soldier in New York at the Battle of Yonkers, and then you've got fucking Alan Alda, who is in MASH, and has that very distinct voice. That's the fun part about listening to the audiobook, is where you go, that's Alan Alda. Like, I know that. And same with Mark Hamill, where you're like, that's Mark Hamill. But yes, and like Martin Scorsese is in the audiobook. But yeah, to see all of those people like have a role would be really neat. And like you and I said, that'd be a really cool opportunity. Different. Yeah. where each episode is like, ooh, this is exciting because it's a totally different perspective. Yeah. And I think there's a really neat opportunity there to like do something that deserves to be adapted well. Because you figure the movie was fine, but it's not World War Z.
No.
Yeah, I mean, so to have that name on it was like kind of shitty for people who are fans of the book who are like, oh shit, they're gonna do World War Z, you know?
Yeah.
And so yeah, I think a series would be the way to do that.
Yep.
What you got?
I think we've talked about it before, but I'll say it again. If John Wick was in a John Wick-esque style
Video game, yeah,
that'd be really cool. Like, yeah, you can be a bounty hunter,
yeah,
and just be an assassin and do crazy shit like that, right?
Yeah.
And make a bunch of money, but not even like an open world.
So, did you ever play? And this kind of ties in. Did you ever play Splinter Cell at all?
Mm-mm.
So, Splinter Cell, Conviction was one of the last ones, and it had some of that close quarter like pistol work, where it's how do you use a pistol close to the chest like that? And you see John Wick do it all the time, of like 2 shots in the foot, 1 in the head, things like that to get in close. And had a feature in it where you could like mark enemies.
Okay.
And then I forget how it worked exactly, but like if you built up a meter or whatever, you could like trigger a button. And if he had all of the people that he'd marked, where like you might get 6 or 7 marks or whatever. If you had them all in line of sight, you could hit the button and he would like and just drop them all in a shot.
Kind of like Deadeye and Red Dead Redemption.
A little bit, yeah. Pre-Red Dead, yeah. And then I didn't play the last one. It was called Splinter Cell Blacklist, but it looked more actiony, and from my understanding, it was like more you could be like on the run and like doing that as you're moving. And so I think taking something like that and putting it into like adapting it to a more modern video game style, that could be a John Wick combat.
Yeah, that'd be super cool. What about you?
So they are doing it, but I hope they do it right. Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh,
yeah, they're making a movie actually from the director of John Wick, but like it definitely deserves a movie.
Yeah,
and I just
because that's a very story-driven,
very cinematic game.
Yeah,
I hope they do it well.
They just have to. The line they really have to tread is giving Jin enough fights.
Yeah,
in it, so it still feels like okay. Yeah, this shows he did a lot of fighting.
He's capable. Yeah,
rather than just like the big major fights and stuff like that.
Sure.
But like, yeah, if they just do too much, then it's like a non-stop action.
Yeah, and it's not an action game.
Right.
I mean, it is, but that's not the point of it. So yeah, I do think you need to do like...
You got to have a decent amount of action in there to show like, this motherfucker's been through a lot.
Yeah, he's been fighting.
But... yeah, not too much. So you just you got to be careful.
Gotta toe the line. And also, I do think you have to toe the line of like being respectful. You know what I mean? Being, because there can be a very, very thin line of being respectful of the culture and then just using the culture. You know what I mean? Because it's like it is a samurai movie, or it's going to be a samurai movie that is very anti-samurai. That's the point. Is like. That this system didn't work, and that they're going to outcast him for saving everything just because he didn't do it, quote unquote, honorably.
Yeah, it wasn't traditional.
And so I do think, and then just in general, not being disrespectful of like just Japanese culture in general, and trying to find that line. And it sounds like they're doing what they can to be.
No, I think it has plenty of potential not to be insensitive or anything like that.
I honestly would be really intrigued if they just went for it and did it in Japanese.
Oh yeah,
and subtitle it.
Oh yeah, nah, I'd be down if they did it in black and white.
Yeah,
did a true like
Kurosawa. Yeah, because you figure there's that option in the game to do Kurosawa mode, or even if they just did like a scene.
Sure,
that'd be cool.
Sure,
to see him like really stylize something into Kurosawa.
That would be really cool. That would be like
one of the fights, maybe.
Or I was even the conversation he has with Lord Shimura.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
That could be the fight that you do as, but I don't know the colors.
Yeah, that's the part. I'm like
the maple leaves and all that. Yeah, or is it?
This is our last day together.
Yeah,
and it is beautiful.
Cut it out, man.
Dude. Yeah, he's just crying, looking at him.
You have no honor.
You are a slave to it.
Like, Jesus.
And the fucking what does he say? He
You'll be remembered as a
No, it's Lord Shimura. He says it when he's telling him, like, I have to kill you.
Oh, yeah, and he says,
he's
like...
killing you is my punishment. Yeah.
Yeah, where he says, my head is the punishment, and he says, and taking it is mine. Yeah.
Dude, that's...
Yeah. My God. The fact that, like, these two dudes just sit down and write a haiku about each other.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to try and be as respectful as possible to each other before we have to... One of us is not leaving here,
Mm-hmm.
I can't. Like,
I can't.
I wept.
Dude, I cried so hard at that.
Morgan was in the kitchen making dinner, and I'm just in the living room fighting this fight, and I, like, have to choose, like, to kill him or leave him, and it's like, it's that strange thing of honor, where, like, killing him was the honorable thing to do.
Yeah, I killed him.
Let him die with honor. And, and I just... Morgan comes in like, dinner's ready, and I'm in there like... She's like, oh, I'm going to go the other way,
That shit was sad.
Yeah.
That was a hard one.
Yeah. So I think that one has very, very big potential.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I want to see that done right.
Yes.
Don't fuck this up.
Oh, I'm trying to think of, like, another one. Oh, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Turn that into a video game.
Yeah, like the most recent Mutant Mayhem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like that teen style.
Yeah. You could even do like a... Did you ever play like Marvel Ultimate Alliance?
Yeah, a little.
A little bit?
A little bit.
Where it's like a top-down fighter or whatever. Not top-down, but like that kind of...
Arcadey.
Yeah, I think that'd be the way to do it. What are you picturing?
Like a third person, right? Kind of like God of War style. But then you can just swap characters.
Nah, I picture it's got to be multiplayer. It's you and some friends.
All right, then you can
be in the Turtles.
I think it should give you the option. Then you can either swap through the players or play multiplayer.
Yeah. I think the God of War style is better suited to The Last Ronin. I think the game is... yeah. Because the Last Ronin game is going to be God of War inspired.
Yeah.
And so I think... Because the Mutant Mayhem is more kid-centric and is fun and light and cartoony, the style of the game should be the same.
Yeah. I guess. I just don't like arcade-style games. Like, I'm not crazy about them.
You just think if a game is top-down, it's bad.
No.
Yes, you do. You said that to me.
Yeah, I have.
Because that was one of the things that bums you out about Baldur's Gate 3, was that it wasn't over the shoulder.
Hey.
And I'm like, oh, Jesus. Fucking media literacy out the fucking yin-yang.
Yeah, what do you want me? What do you want me to say?
To be better.
Well.
No.
Mum's the word.
The game doesn't have to be bad just because of the perspective.
Okay.
Considering I got to fucking convince you to pick up Starfield again, and you were all fucking, oh, it's game over for Baldur's Gate, baby. Starfield's coming out. Then it came out, and it's just the biggest 7 out of 10 you've ever played. And you're like... And like that's the thing, it's like a 7 or an 8 isn't a bad game.
No.
But everybody was like, this is gonna be a 10 out of 10.
No.
And then it wasn't. And then it's like
that ain't that a bitch.
Yeah.
Well, you got any more?
That comic that I read for the show, East of Eden. Or East of West. That needs to be a show. Even if you just did it animation style like Invincible, I'd be so in. A good Western? Come on now.
Yeah, who doesn't love a Western? Speaking of Westerns, that does remind me of the next one I want to talk about. But
yeah, I think you and I both have that one on our list.
Say it.
Red Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They need a remaster.
Oh, no. I'm talking make that a visual medium.
You think a movie?
Yeah, do a movie or a show.
Nah.
You don't think so?
Mm-mm.
Why not?
Because I like the voice actor who does. Well, he does kind of look like him.
Yeah. And I mean, that's a problem.
Okay, hold on.
And that's a problem that you run into with any video game into a movie is like.
Yeah, but Arthur Morgan has a very distinct voice.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you can get away with, like, Nathan Drake.
Well, I mean, if you look at Joel, Joel has a very distinct voice. And Pedro Pascal doesn't, like, do Joel. You know what I mean? He doesn't do that Joel. He just does Pedro Pascal with a Texan accent. You know?
That's true.
And so I think if the actor does his job and the writing's still there, it can still be a...
Yeah.
You know? I don't think it's fair to write off a whole...
Easy, girl.
Yeah. I'm scared, sister.
Stand unshaken.
Morgan just has seen me cry at a lot of video games, dude. It doesn't help that Morgan is a cold woman.
She is.
Like, she don't cry at nothing.
Mm-mm.
I bet she
I've seen her cry a couple times. Maybe 2 or 3
But
times.
it's generally about, like, life stuff. Media does not get her.
Mm-mm.
Which is wild to me.
I'm a sucker for that shit.
Oh, yeah.
Soul, bald, Luca tore my ass up. I had to pause the movie.
I don't fucking stop.
I had to stop it and walk away for a minute and just pull myself together. I'm just over in the corner.
Sniffling. Trying to... Where you like gotta catch your breath from crying, and where you do the because you fucking your exhale is just a sob. The lip sucking. You go to speak and it's just
I'm gonna throw up.
Yeah, from fucking Step Brothers. You're not gonna throw up. And just fucking, oh my god, he threw up. That's you watching Luca.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I was telling you about a book that was adapted into a movie. When a monster calls.
Yeah.
No shot. That one had me like that.
Mm-hmm.
My mom and I both were just fucking like sniffling, wiping our faces, and Morgan's just sitting on the couch, fucking scratching her boob. You know, just like whatever, man. It's just a fucking heartfelt cancer movie, and Morgan just over there fucking. Hey, you want to watch something blow up or what? I'm like, Jesus, God, I love you, baby. You know.
But holy shit.
But fuck, you have no empathy when it comes to media.
My wife is so fucked up.
My wife is fucked.
Might have to send her to the loony bin.
She's lucky it ain't the 50s. I'd have her institutionalized. I'd have her lobotomized. Divorced by incarceration, you know? Or divorced by institutionalization. Yeah, so Red Dead. Who would you cast in? I started thinking, now wait a minute, thinking about it.
No, I'd try to get as close to the voice cast as you can.
Well, but the problem is, like, the voice cast isn't necessarily visually the character. I think...
Kurt Russell would have to be in there.
Okay, who would he play?
I could see him playing Micah.
Nah, Micah's too young.
Yeah, Kurt Russell is a bit older now. He doesn't look like Dutch enough.
Lenny! Just get fucking Gerard Butler to be Dutch, and he just has he's still got his Scottish accent. No, I don't know. I've seen a lot of like fan castings on like online and stuff, and half the time it's like, that was dumb. What are you fucking... Where they're like, you know who you need in there. I don't know what role he could play, but Timothy Olyphant plays a good like gunslingy type. You figure he was in Boba Fett and Mandalorian as what's his fucking name? Not Cad Bane.
He's still alive.
Figure he does the think on it.
Yeah, think on it. Yeah, I know you're talking about. I can't remember his name.
I can't either. But yeah, I don't know what he would play or what role he'd play, but he does a good like.
He could do it. He'd be able to play Dutch.
I think he's too young to play Dutch.
Throw a wig on him, bro.
Just fucking age him up, dude. Get fucking
no fucking problem. Because Dutch is in his what, 40s? 50s maybe? 50s max, you know?
Yeah. Well, because you figure Arthur's how old?
I imagine like 30s.
Late 30s, yeah. And you figure Dutch picked him up when he was a boy.
Mm-hmm.
So Dutch is at least 10 to 20 years older than him.
Yeah. So he's 50s.
Yeah, make him in his 50s. Yeah.
Because he doesn't have a whole lot of gray hair.
Well, you figure he's got the...
You got the stripe.
Got the streaks on the side of his head.
You're fine.
Yeah.
He's still piping.
I think there's better characters for Timothy Olyphant than the old guy.
I guess.
Timothy Olyphant's still pretty young looking. I don't know. Let's trying to think if there's any other ones that I'd be mad if I didn't mention. Hold on here.
Oh, I did want to talk about if they ever made like Red Dead 3.
Sure.
There's been a lot of talk like they wanted to make it about like the mafia because it would technically be into the Roaring 20s.
Sure. Well, but I mean, you figure you could just follow the thread of like, you figure Red Dead 2 is actually a prequel to Red Dead.
So making it about the Van der Linde gang.
Yeah, about Dutch and Hosea.
Ending at Blackwater.
Maybe.
Because that's where it starts. Is you guys just leave Blackwater? Or no, you guys leave Valentine.
No, it was Blackwater.
Was it Blackwater?
Yeah.
So I mean, it could pick up right there. I don't know. I don't want another prequel. I don't want them to go further back in time. I want there to be like,
you want coach and shit, like cars. Just figure in Red Dead 1, there's like the very earliest cars, and they're like you're faster on a horse than you are in a car. You know what I mean?
That's something similar to what I'd want. You know, I don't want the cars to be super fast or nothing like that.
Yeah. I'm trying to look here, just see if there's any that are like, oh yeah.
But maybe doing like following John Marston's son. Maybe he's Jack. Like a bootlegger.
Well, you figure you jump forward to play Jack at the end of Red Dead 1. And,
as a teen.
As like a early 20s maybe. Late teen, early 20s. And you go and fucking kill the guy that had your dad killed.
Mm-hmm.
And then the game officially like gives you the end credit screen. It seems like he's grown up to be a gunslinger, which I like the idea of like he tried to give his son a better life, and it just
doesn't work.
He's still, yeah.
It's in their DNA.
Mm-hmm. It's in the DNA,
in the blood.
Fucking, I could see this. So, did you ever play Life is Strange? It's a episodic, like choose your own adventure type.
I've seen it, never played it.
I could see like that, or even like it's a weird one to adapt. But like the Telltale's The Walking Dead, that first season the first two seasons
Clementine and
are solid.
Lee
and Clementine. Lee. Did you ever play that one?
But I know he dies.
Yeah, but the second season has a tough ending. Well, there's like 5 different endings, but there's one ending in particular that you're like, damn. Because Kenny, do you remember Kenny from? No. Oh, you didn't play it. Fucking he can like. You think he dies in the first season? Mm-hmm. And he kind of pulls like a Glenn under the dumpster thing. Yeah. Where you're like, how do you get out of that one? You're like, you just got real lucky, man. And you're like, okay, whatever. But he shows up in the second season, and you play as Clementine in the second season. And so it's like this weird thing of playing as a little girl, so you're less capable. Mm-hmm. So there's like, you kind of have to take that into account when you're making decisions of like, oh, I mean, this is a threatening situation, and she's not fighting her way out.
Right.
You know what I mean? So what's the move here? But at the end, if one of the endings, the ending that I always try and get, because it's like, that feels like the ending, good one, is you and Kenny and this little baby that's born along the way that you guys end up having to adopt because everybody else dies.
Yeah.
Come to this like camp in Ohio, like northern Ohio. That's like, its wall is made out of shipping containers and stuff.
Sure.
And they kind of turn you away because they just don't have, we can't take on more people right now.
Yeah.
You know? And they come back, like, please just ask, Kenny's like, please God, we can't have come all this way.
Right.
We'll die out here. And the woman comes to the wall that's like the leader or whatever, and it's kind of like, I don't know, man, like, I'm sorry, And he kind of like hollers at her like, please just take the kids, Yeah. And so Clementine's like, what? And he's kind of like, shut up, And she, hold on, let me make some, let me make some phone calls, So she talks to back there, and she comes out and she's like, all right, we can only take the kids. Like, it's just the kids. And Kenny kind of is like, all right, and Clementine kind of tries to pull the whole, like, no, I'm not going, like, whatever. And he kind of grabs her shoulder and is basically like, this has to be, this can't have been for nothing.
Yeah.
Like, I've done a lot of really, I've been a bad guy and done some bad shit. If I've done this,
I'm all right.
We're good. Like, you've got to go. And so she's kind of like, oh, okay. And the game like fucking ends with the doors closing. You can see him walking away, and it just doors shut. And you're like, Kenny fucking dies out there. Like, you know he does. I'm like, fucking crying. I'm like, God damn it, not again. It's happened to Clementine again, but at least she's like safe.
Yeah.
I don't know. So yeah, I think, but either of those games, like an episodic story based.
Yeah, those are always.
But they're hard because that is like one of the key things about it is choice-based. Mm-hmm. So then you kind of have to make a hard-line decision. Or
do it like a Bandersnatch where you make your own decisions.
Right, yeah. I don't know. I didn't like Bandersnatch too much. I like the idea of it, but I don't think
See you around.
See you around. Just jumps.
Just fucking face plants into the bleachers.
Yeah.
That was brutal.
Yeah.
All right. See you around.
Black Mirror is brutal, dude.
Yeah. Black Mirror is some crazy ass shit.
Fucked up shit. Dude.
Yeah. I like Black Mirror.
I do too.
Same with Love, Death, and Robots.
Yeah.
Dude.
Black Mirror is very Twilight Zone, but if like there's a podcast I listen to and they talk about like society as a phone, you know?
Society.
You know, it's like it's Twilight Zone, but if society was a phone, you know? And it's like, yeah, that's very much. You figure it's called Black Mirror because it's a screen. Mm-hmm. When a screen is off, it's a black mirror.
Yeah.
The first episode of Black Mirror is a wild one to like. Yeah. If you're gonna recommend Black Mirror to somebody, don't recommend that they start with the first episode.
No. Second one's cool.
Yeah. Well, because the first episode's good, but it's
wild.
You don't start there because otherwise you're not going to continue.
No. You're gonna watch that and go, "What the fuck is this?"
What in the fuck? There's an episode called "Shut Up and Dance." Mm-hmm. That's the one you watch.
Okay.
Like, watch that episode. Find it. I don't remember which season it's in. Maybe 3, but it's called "Shut Up and Dance." I can't tell you about it. I think I've told you about it, but you probably forgot.
Yeah.
I can't think of the kid's name, but he's in. I think he's the one in End of the Fucking World. Is that what it's called on Netflix?
Yeah.
I think that's the show that he's in.
Okay.
From, but wild episode, man. Yeah, I don't want to spoil Shut Up and Dance for people, but watch it. It's a fucking good episode.
It's nuts.
And it kind of is a good, like, because some of the episodes are much more sci-fi than others.
Yeah.
So that one's a good, like, pretty grounded, here's how our phones can be bad for us, you know, or technology can be used as a threat and still have that, like, dark twist that Black Mirror is known for. Yeah, so I think that's all I've got as far as adaptations.
Yeah.
Let us know what
if there's any adaptations that you guys were thinking over that you would like to see.
Yeah.
Definitely let us know. It's simply
like, I'm not a big book. I'm not a very well read man.
I ain't a big bookworm.
So if there's any books or anything like that, you're like, you know what, this would be a good show or movie or, you know, video game even. You know, I don't know how much, I don't know what the pipeline is between books to video games, but so yeah, if that's all we got. If that's all we've got, and I guess all I got to do is ask you what you've been thinking about. I
think what you meant to say is, welcome back to Chris's Cryptid Corner. I'm your host, Chris. I ain't got one today. I'm a sellout.
Yeah.
No, I have an actual what you've been thinking about.
Oh, word.
That I wanted to talk about. I got sick, and I had an epiphany.
Okay.
Could have been the fever talking to me.
Yeah, hold on. We want to acknowledge that. Last week we talked about Morgan being sick and being the leper, and that you kind of thought you might be coming down with something, and then you did come down with it. But guess who didn't fucking come down with it? Big Hoss right here, baby. Fucking 3-man enter, 1-man leave. You know, I fucking was king of the castle. Actually, no, I turned into house bitch for both of y'all.
Yeah, that's correct. I tried to do things myself, and you kept telling me
like,
no.
Fucking Typhoid Mary here. Like, why can't I just run around about while I'm sick? Because we fucking don't want you getting everybody sick.
Huh?
And you'd be like fucking sneaking out of your room.
Yeah, I did. I snuck out of my room.
What the fuck are you doing? You're like, no. Ask. I'll go do it for you. I just don't want to be inconvenient. No, sick would be inconvenient.
No.
So you had an epiphany from the fever.
Yeah. I've really, really been wanting to play Civilization.
Yeah.
I have been. It started when we were going to play RimWorld. And we were looking at games, and I was going to stay
Civilization.
But we just didn't play it, and then we ended up playing back on, what was it? Battlefield 1. And I was like, all right, that's fine.
Having a good old time.
Yeah, we've been playing the shit out of Battlefield 1 lately. Yeah. And we've been grinding. You and I will be like top of the leaderboards.
Yeah, we're doing well.
Let them cook.
All right, everybody.
But no, between Civilization and Battlefield 1 is a very cinematic game.
Yeah.
And I would love to like see if I can bump up the graphics on mine.
Oh yeah, take it to Ultra, and then there's an option
to hide the HUD.
To hide the HUD. It's hard as fuck because you can't see shit,
Mm-hmm.
but it's cool to run around for a little while.
So I've been thinking I want to try to do that.
Yeah.
Because you see stuff like that on TikTok and stuff. But like to be able to do it myself, that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
But then for Civ, I mean, just getting smart, you know, and like working up on your science and stuff like that. Being Teddy Roosevelt as the Rough Riders.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
right? And just conquering.
Yeah.
Same with like I've been thinking about like Risk lately and stuff like that. Just games like that.
Yeah.
So we'll have to play Civ here soon and
fucking
or continue our one that we have going.
Yeah. Just fucking play as Gandhi and just nuke the world. So apparently, I didn't know this. That's apparently a joke.
Oh.
From Civ 4 or 3 maybe, where they accidentally like there was an error in the coding in the AI of the other leaders, and they just accidentally made Gandhi just a goblin. Where apparently like on the aggressive, on like the aggression scale, he was supposed to be a 10, and they made him a 100 by accident. It was like one extra zero, and so he was just like declaring nuclear war, boom, and just nuking everything. And like, what the fuck, Gandhi? You're supposed to be the peaceful guy. And he's just over here like, uh-oh, guess you just completed the Manhattan Project, I'm like, fuck. Oh. And so, yeah, he is a good, if he's in the game as an AI, he's probably going to be aggressive.
But then, like, getting the Mustangs and, like, having the planes and everything like that flying over, I miss that. I want to play that.
There's definitely something very satisfying about, like, conquering.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, just...
I am better.
Yeah.
I'm stronger. I am better. I am better. But
MAGA.
So, yeah.
So that's supposed to be as a rally. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Straight up kills Black Noir.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know it was so different in the comics.
Yeah.
That Black Noir was actually Homelander.
Yeah, it was a clone of Homelander. Yeah.
And so I want to start reading the comics.
We got them. We own them. They're not that great. I got to level with you.
Really?
The show's much better.
Oh, you think?
And I'm not alone in that. I've seen a lot of that discourse online.
Okay. I'd still like to read them at some point. Yeah. But no, back to Civ. So yeah, no, I've just been thinking a lot about that. And then as far as like, I don't know, it's just always fun to kind of like, it's not a God's simulator.
Yeah.
But like you get to control mankind and you're trying to evolve them.
Yeah.
Right. And so like, that esque of it is cool, and that's what I'm missing. And I think that's what we were trying to go for in RimWorld too.
Yeah, I think a good combo would be some combination of Civ and then Frostpunk.
Okay.
Where if you were able to add like a moral component to like some of the decisions you make, that would be interesting to me.
Yeah.
Or more like having to balance. I almost want like a more politic to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where like you're also having to worry about, I guess what I'm describing is there is a game called like Crusader Kings that kind of has that aspect to it. But I think if you had like the lightest version of that on top of Civ, that would be good. Because Crusader Kings is like very diplomatic and like, vassals and lieges and kingdoms and things like that. Did you think I turned it off by accident?
Yeah, I was just making sure.
No, we're good. We're Gucci. And so I don't want to get that deep into it. I like how surface level Civ is.
Yeah,
but if you could interweave some,
just a little bit, just a dollop,
just a tad of diplomacy and internal politics as opposed to the external politics would be cool. We're just having more political options, even diplomatic options.
You have governors and stuff like that, so being able to have like city states in it, kind of treading those. Yeah, this one's like more tax heavy, so it's going to be like the surveyor, or the librarian. So this one's going to be a little more stronger in like science gain. Yeah,
or like if you could have, I almost wonder if you could have like an election aspect to it.
That's getting pretty deep into it.
Not really. I mean, you could do it at a surface level of like what's your approval as a leader, and you've got to balance that side of things of like keeping the people liking you as the leader.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant for like the surveyor, the librarian.
No. I just mean like you worrying about your political standing.
Yeah, making sure that everyone likes you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. Yeah. I think that'd be cool. But what you been thinking about?
I'm thinking about City Skylines, dude.
Yeah, you've been playing the fuck out of it.
Yeah, and like the sequel is coming out in October. And like it's not one that I'm like, I'm getting that on one of releases, you know what I mean? But I'm excited for it because it looks like it's going to be a lot more user-friendly. Not that Cities 1 is like, what am I doing here? But there is an aspect of like, it feels like there's a lot. You know what I mean? It feels like a lot to take on. But I do like. It looks like they've done a good job with like. Here's things that people taking into consideration, like some of the creators. Like there's a big niche group of YouTubers who are like they do city skylines.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, a lot of like they did a really neat like, oh damn, they're doing a big push as far as like, all right, the game releases in almost 2 months. Let's start ramping up some exposure. And so they coordinated with a lot of creators and we're like, all right, you can make a video. We're going to give you early access to it.
Mm-hmm.
You can make a video that only gets you like through the first 5 levels or whatever of like ranking up. And on this day at this time, you can release it. So there was like this strange phenomenon of like, all of a sudden I saw like 7 City Skylines 2 videos all post at the same time.
Yeah.
That were like, you know, and it's because they were like, here's what Cities is like from the people that you already watch play Cities,
right.
you know. And so you kind of get their live reactions. And I did like that it didn't feel like paid advertisement because like one of the guys is a actual city planner.
Mm-hmm.
And I think his channel is called like City Planner Plays Cities.
Yeah.
And so I like his videos because his cities do end up looking like
an actual
real
city.
places.
Yeah.
And like he kind of critiqued some of the things where he's like, I'm really surprised that this isn't something that they put in this.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like a big oversight. So hopefully it's something that they
an update or something
that they add
in.
before it releases.
Yeah.
And you know, so like he was kind of critical of it at times. You know,
Which I
like,
think is good, and
yeah.
you know that's what you want.
And I mean, and it wasn't like the game was bad. It was just like, oh, I really like that they did this, that they did that, that they did that.
But I'm
I don't
surprised
know
that
why
that's
they didn't
not
do
in there.
this. Yeah. And so, like I said, it was nice because it didn't feel like paid to stroke it off.
Yeah.
It was just paid to play it, and people like watching you play it, and they had confidence in their product enough to just go, here, play this and post a video, and people will want to play it. And it's worked on me, you know, where I'm like, ooh, I want to play that. Because one of the problems that I have with Cities 1 is I just own the base game, and it's unfortunately a little bit simish in that there's like $350 worth of, you know, DLC. And there's things
so when
that
you're playing just the base, you're really not
you
playing.
feel like
nothing.
you're missing out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh man, I wish I. So I've tried to read on like lists of like, what are the ones that you like get this one, get this one, get this one. Because the game's like $30 and then the DLCs are like 15. So it's like half the price of the base game, you know? And so it's like, I'm not going to fucking buy.
I'd rather blow my dad.
I'll blow my dad before I eat a burrito with a fork, as Bo Burnham says. I've been thinking about Bo Burnham too.
Yeah, dude.
I'm never not.
Exactly.
Yeah, if we're honest, I'm never not. But no, he was in a movie called Promising Young Woman. You ever see that?
Oh, yeah.
I like that movie a lot. I watched it.
That was really good.
A couple.
Not a really
it was when you guys were sick. Really good movie, and he does a really good job in it.
I saw that in theaters.
Did you? Yeah, that's a good movie. She's a crazy ass woman in that.
Yeah. Well, so is Bo.
Oh yeah. He's a bad motherfucker.
Yeah, he ain't the good guy.
He's not a good guy. But I do like that like it's kind of a revenge. It's a revenge story. But she's not the good guy either. You know what I mean?
No one's the good guy.
Exactly. What she's doing, it doesn't make it right. You know? And so it's like, ooh. But she is. I think about the dean of the college.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like that petty. Like,
who was Doc Ock? Same actor.
I was thinking of the woman.
Oh.
No, the Doc Ock, Alfred Molina was the lawyer.
Was he?
No. Was the lawyer for one of the boys. And like, oh, he's always felt bad after the fact.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
he's the only one that had remorse. And like, she kind of like.
She lets him go.
Lets him off the hook. Because he's the only one that genuinely showed remorse.
Because he breaks down, he's crying and stuff like that. And he goes like, I did the wrong thing.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, the dean is the woman who runs the college and doesn't remember Nina. And like didn't remember the story at all. And Nina's posing as like a friend of Nina.
Oh, yeah.
And she like tells her like, I dropped your daughter off at that very room 3 hours ago. The boys that live there now. And I think they had some vodka in their room, you know. But I'm sure they'll take good care of her, you know. And she's like, what the fuck? You know, and she tries to call her daughter and phone rings in Nina's pocket. You know, she's like, oh, she's going to be wanting that later, you know, and sets it on the desk. And she's like, what room is she in? She goes, I told you, the same room that Nina was in. And she's like, I already told you, I don't remember that. And she's like, oof, that is a shame, you know. if you remembered, you'd know exactly where to find her. And it's like,
what a fucking schmuck.
That's some petty ass shit, But it's like, yeah, got her. So she's like, so that's one of those where it's really like, that's not cool because you're like, she's setting her up to
fail.
Yeah. But oh well.
Yeah, it's
a good movie.
That is a very good movie. If you haven't seen it, we highly recommend it.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's a serious movie.
Yeah, I forget what I watched it on. It might have been on HBO Max.
I think it is on HBO Max, as a matter of fact.
I just want to see where to.
And Ariana Grande made that song for it.
Yeah. It's on Prime.
Young woman.
Yeah, it's on Prime Video.
I don't know if that's a fact or not. I just said it because I can.
Yeah. Because fuck it,
Yeah.
I just say shit.
Shit ain't nothing to me, man.
Yeah, I'll just say shit. I'll say anything. Yeah. Anyways, that's what I've been thinking about.
Yeah.
I think that's all I got. What do you got?
That's all I got.
Anything else? Nothing?
Nothing.
All right, well, then obviously we want to thank you guys so much for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give it a like and a follow and all that good stuff. Leave us a 5-star review if you liked it on, what's that called? iTunes is the one. Tell your friends about us, obviously. That's a big old help. Something that I don't know we should probably try and start doing. Apparently we can do, like, polls on Spotify.
I got something you can pull.
I got a poll for you. You're sick.
You're a sick puppy.
You're fucked up, man. Anyways, yeah, give us a 5-star review if you enjoyed it. Tell your friends about us. Make sure that you're liking, following, subscribing on your audio streaming service of choice. That way you get notified every time we post.
Yep.
And then if people wanted to get in touch with us, tell us what their adaptation of wish list would be. How would they do that, guys?
Yeah, you can always take a look at our socials. Our Instagram, Facebook is Simply Whelmed Podcast. Our Twitter handle is whelmed_simply. Or you can always shoot us an email at simplywhelmedmailbag@gmail.com.
That's right. Every day, baby.
Every
day. Who knows what we're doing next week? It's a fucking roll of the die, baby.
Yeah,
When does The Creator come out?
I have no idea.
Let's find out. I think it's soon.
Maybe my next script, it should just be about my colonoscopy.
Are you getting a colonoscopy?
I can.
Oh, I know what I'm going to talk about next week.
What are you talking about, baby?
Morgan and I are going to the Mothman Festival.
Oh, yeah.
Try to get your dog ass to go, but,
I'm officiating a wedding.
Yep. Fuck them. No.
He's my best friend.
No, he's not. I am. You can only have one.
That's not true.
That's not true at all.
You're just really beat up by that, huh?
It's true for me.
Shut the fuck up.
Your dog ass had to get these pistachios out, didn't you?
They're so good.
I don't know why you fucking buy, like, what do I look like? A fucking peasant? Why do I gotta peel these things for you?
I like the shell,
That's
man.
my favorite part. The part you can't fucking eat and you have to work to eat.
Exactly.
That's stupid. That's asinine.
Makes it feel more rewarding.
No, it doesn't.
Like I'm working out, like I can afford to eat an entire bag of pistachios.
Just have 7 times my daily value of protein.
Because I'm sweating the calories off just trying to open them.
Trying to get into them. Got to bring a fucking pry bar with you.
That's right.
Anyways, who knows what we'll be talking about next week. All right, then. That's the end of the episode, Chris. Everybody, bye.
Bye.